Hey guys, doing some more drawing tonight. Figured I'd invite you guys along for the ride. I put the invite out to some of my buddies, so we'll see if anybody else wants to come hang out. But just doing some more finishing touches on this piece here. I'm trying to get going on some pieces I need to do for the hashtag comic book shout out. Um, I've got Mr. Akins requested a Werewolf by Night versus Dracula piece. Hey Tina, how you doing tonight? Can you hear me okay? So Mr. Akins requested a Werewolf by Night piece, and he wanted the trade dress on that. So I went ahead and I got the trade dress. It's looking great. That's cool. Can you hear me all right? Okay, cool. So he wanted the trade dress for the Bronze Age Werewolf by Night on the piece that I'm going to be doing for him. So um, I'm going to go ahead and I went ahead and set that up, but I got to get it printed out on a nice printer before I can actually work on that. So that'll probably get printed off tomorrow. So I figured I'd just keep working on this piece. I'm thinking about um, if I get this done to my satisfaction, Bronze Age Nerd, I've donated a piece for his auction for helping out veterans coming up here. His Heroes for Heroes fundraiser. So if I get this done, I might contact him and see if he wants another piece to go in there. But yeah, so how was your day today, Tina? Hopefully it was wonderful. You had a good day. That's good. Mine was all right. I got off work early, so that was kind of nice. I got some things done that I've been meaning to get done, and I did as I often do. I had a nice meal and fell asleep when I should be doing more things. But here I am getting some drawing done. So guess I need to do more of like listening to my body when it's telling me I'm tired. I should rest, but I'm always wanting to do more. The spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak, I guess. I figured I'd kind of fill in this negative space and try to darken it up a little bit with kind of a starburst pattern behind the phoenix. So I get some directional lines for that first, and then we'll do a little bit of filling in. At least that's my plan anyway. would have been better to probably map this out a little better with a ruler so I know where my vanishing point is, but we'll fly by the seat of our pants here and kind of go with that. So, Tina, are you doing anything for Halloween? Are you gonna dress up? You go to any? I know you said you're not a big social person, but do you go out and trick or treat or go to any kind of parties, hanging out with any friends or anything for Halloween? Dressing up? I haven't dressed up in a while. Last time I did was for they have a thing called the '80s Video Dance Attack here in Portland, and I went to that. I did the Day of the Dead makeup. My sister came over and did makeup for me and everything, and got all kinds of compliments. People were no plans for Halloween. Gonna hand out candy at least, or yes, it was kind of cool. Um, my wife and I dressed up. We were the Day of the Dead, and we had all kinds of people wanting to get pictures taken with us. She got all worried about people being upset about cultural appropriation. I suppose I should keep the picture where you guys can see what I'm doing. Yeah, remember there was like this couple dressed up as the Mad Hatter and the Queen of Hearts, and everybody was lined up to get pictures with us and them for Halloween. It was kind of cool. My sister did a really good job with the makeup, so I turned the clipboard around because I wanted to get more up here by the Phoenix's head. One thing is the clip is like jamming me in the stomach. Yes, my sister is. immensely talented artistically. Tina is, I think she undersells herself artistically, but and then I'm always telling her she's when she does get paid for her art, she doesn't charge enough. So she's always like, "I need you to be my agent." She does she does henna artwork at like state fairs and stuff and gets paid pretty good. Hey Trev, good to see you, buddy. Just felt like doing some artwork tonight, so I thought I'd hop on and see if anybody else wanted to come on and chat and see what's going on. So yeah, I've got a couple pieces that I'm doing for the hashtag comic book shout out. So I found some original artwork and from Bronze Age books for the folks that they wanted the trade dress, or I figured Mike from Lunch Money Comics won one of them, and I figured he would want the trade dress or appreciate the trade dress for X-Men on his piece. So he wants a Nightcrawler piece, and then Mr. Akins from What's on the Comic Rack won a piece, and he requested Werewolf by Night fighting Dracula with the classic Bronze Age trade dress. So went ahead and actually found the issue number where Werewolf by Night is fighting Dracula and made sure that that was in the trade dress. So it'll all jive. Devil's in the details, right? So how about you, Trev? Any big plans for Halloween? You got anything going on? Tina's gonna hand out candy. I don't really have anything going on. I'll probably be working, so I'll probably have to get up early the next day because it falls on a weird day this year. In and out candy and cards too. Well, there are worse things. I picked up a bunch of 70s ish um, Disney stuff and everything in a collection recently. It'd be kind of interesting to hand out comics for Halloween. They're all like mid grade, you know. They were well loved by somebody's children. Um, could be interesting to hand out comics. I don't know how that would go. I forget where I think I saw somebody. Um, they said that one of the people in their neighborhood dressed up as a shield agent, and any kids dressed up as superheroes, they would give them candy and such, and then ask them if they were interested in the Avengers Initiative. Thought that was kind of cool. Kind of play into that little kid's fantasy of being a superhero even more. Make the night more special for them, I guess. CJ, yep, I'm live. We're just doing some drawing, hanging out, and talking. How are you, sir? Any big plans for Halloween? That's what we're talking about here. Pokemon always works wonders. That's cool. So Tina's handing out candy. Trev told me he's handing out candy too. Those are their plans for Halloween. Your life every day. It was that. That's the song, isn't it? Every day is Halloween. Date myself. 80s song. So CJ, you're part of the C3, right? How did that go for you? You did some artwork for that? And Trev, you were you involved in that as well? I'm gonna get involved next year. I didn't really. There's so much stuff going on in my personal life. I didn't get into that. I need to next year for sure. C3 was amazing. Were you involved in that scene, or were you moderating for anybody for that? Let's see. You were at work, so you couldn't participate too much. Comic Journey says it went well. We had a live drawing during the insomniac hours. Had a lot of guests and raised a lot of money. That's awesome. The one that I've been trying to kind of cheerlead is the one I've been trying to make sure that all my friends and everyone knows about the one for Jen. And I donated some art for auction for a raffle for Bronze Age Nerd, and then also donated a piece for his thing coming up, his Heroes for Heroes thing for the veterans. So I donated the piece that I did on Between the Lines, the Batman cover, Batman versus Superman cover. No, I appreciated the invite, CJ. I really should have gotten more involved. I will next year for sure. Yeah, life can get crazy sometimes, that's for sure. Um, like I was just telling Tina, is like there's so much that I intend to do sometimes, and it's just the spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak. I got off work early today, and I had all these things I wanted to do, and I got some of them done, but then I sat down and ate some food and passed out. I think if we were able to do all of the things that we wanted to do and talk to all the people and you know that we wanted to talk to, life would be amazing. But well, they say the road to hell is paved with good intentions, right? So, CJ, did you do the drawing during the live drawing, or and if so, what did you draw? I never got to see Katie's My Pet Roscoe finished. I saw her working on it several times, but she was auctioning that off. It was looking pretty cool. Dan, what's up, buddy? I put the link out there if you want to come on and talk and hang, you're welcome to. No pressure, though. Thanks, brother. Thinking I might talk to Bronze Age Nerd. He's got a thing going on for a fundraiser for veterans, and I might donate this piece as well. So we'll see. You drew a few things. The theme was Creatures of the Night, Halloween. The Insomniacs were drawing as well as a few guest professionals. Awesome. Item of the auction, in my opinion. Bill's Treehouse got the My Pet Roscoe for 350. Nice. Dan says thanks for the offer to come on. So that's awesome. 350 for the My Pet Roscoe. That's pretty cool. In bed. That's probably where I should be. Dan says he's in bed for the night. He's just watching me draw. I'll do my best to put you to sleep with my drawing in my soothing voice. So Dan, are you mentioned you've been getting a lot more Silver Age books since meeting me. Are you gonna start working on that Silver Age run of X-Men? And also, I noticed you've been picking up some ASM. Are you considering collecting ASM? Are you gonna work your way back from a certain point? Or I know you got a few Silver Age books of that. Bob Ross me, bro. I'm Bob Ross as best I can. Well, the happy little Phoenix over here. Everyone kicked ass with the event. That's awesome. straight straight impulse buying right now, and Dan. Well, that's all good. Like I said, I'm a bad influence for you. Or maybe a good influence. I don't know. Did help with the Mission 22 fundraiser. That's awesome. CJ, I think that'd be cool. Um, yeah, I'm trying to work a little more with since meeting Bronze Age Nerd at the Rose City Comic Con. Trying to work a little more with him because we're both kind of in the same general area. Not too much travel for us to conceivably work together on things. So what's the few hours driving if it's for a good cause, right? Felt like the first time when I handed off my artwork to him, I felt like a secret agent. I met him in a Walmart parking lot with a manila envelope. Here's the package. So the piece I gave him for the Mission 22 was the one I did for Between the Lines, which was the is that Hulk 340 homage, the one with or Wolverine had Hulk in the claws, but it was Batman that I did with Superman in the Batarangs reflected. So I donated that piece to him. Trev, you can take off. Have a great night. Big B and chat. Awesome. Let's see. Let's see. Glad we are friends now, regardless of it being good or bad, Dan says. Oh, well, I don't think it's bad. Never can be bad to have new friends. Big B, you keep showing cool books on your shorts. Makes me think I need some of them. Well, some of them are relatively attainable. Those Simpsons books aren't too bad. I think they're like maybe 10, $15 for most of the Treehouse of Horror stuff. Some of them are short print and they get expensive. I think it's the later ones that are harder to get for those Treehouse of Horror. But no, those Golden Age books I've been showing just just for everybody's information. I don't own those books. I've been using screenshots just to show some cool Golden Age pre-code horror. I wish I owned those books. Let's see. It's tough with these events so close to each other. That's true, CJ. Uh, let's see. Tina, are you East or West Coast? West. Tina says West. CJ said, I figured for some reason you're not as mean as us East Coasters. Haha. CJ, you're funny. Tina says, yeah, those pre-code horrors are amazing. Tina is super awesome. She didn't even get upset when I just added her as a moderator without even asking her. World's greatest moderator. What about you, Dan? Any plans for Halloween? Anything going on? You got the fam? You guys going out trick or treating or handing out candy? What am I dressing as? I'm dressing as a construction worker probably because I will probably have to work early in the morning and I won't be able to really do anything because of the weird day that it falls on this year. So, although the way with the weather's been going, it's been pretty weird up here. So who knows? We had some big jobs that just kind of disappeared in the middle of us getting ready to do them. We'd leave for one job and come back, and they would say, "Hey, that job is gone. Wash it up." We'll see. Bob Ross should put you to sleep, Dan. You have a good sleep, buddy. Thanks for jumping on for a bit. I just figure, might as well chat with some people and have fun while I'm drawing. I mean, I have fun while I'm drawing anyway, but it was good to talk to you fine folks. Yeah, I got my schedule for tomorrow morning. I don't get my schedule until like 5 in the afternoon, the day before, the night before. Usually it's, 3 or 4 in the morning. I've got to be there and called in and they said, Brian, 9 a.m. So, I can be up late with all you night owls. You insomniacs, as CJ calls them. Although I know you got that trademark, CJ. I'm not infringing on your trademark there. Yes, I'm excited to get started on the piece for Mike tomorrow, and maybe I'll be streaming that, and then also the piece for once I finish with Mike's Nightcrawler piece, I got the piece for Mr. Akins from What's on the Comic Rack to do. He wants the Werewolf by Night versus Dracula, so I'll be working on that one. It's a trade dress. That was his big thing. He wants the trade dress. So I got that piece all set up. What's my favorite medium to work with? I definitely love penciling because it's so forgiving. Um, most of my color stuff that I do or inking is usually done in a digital medium because that way I can hit undo, right? Um, Penciling, I feel really free with doing a lot of gesture, and then I can go in and clean it up. Uh, so I really love just kind of conveying movement and motion and um, just find that super fun to do. Like, I was having a conversation with Ricky from All Sorts of Words about, or I think at least I was thinking he was somewhere in a chat or something when I was talking to him about how he uses his words to convey what's going on, whereas I use the weight and the motion of the lines to convey motion and to convey what's going on in my world on the page or the paper. So, how about you, CJ? What's your favorite medium to work in? Yeah, I like charcoal, all right. And I mean, I don't mind doing a lot of other mediums. Like watercolor is kind of fun because you can do a lot of, work with it and then let it dry and then work some more with it and, change up the way things look. And mixed media as well. Still haven't found the perfect setup for drawing yet, and being able to look at the chat and draw and everything, but we'll get there. I think this would be a fun piece to color because there would be so much play of the light going through her hair and the lighting of the different shades coming from the light source from the phoenix and from the flames coming from her hand. Um, let's see. CJ says, I love charcoal, but it gets dirty and hard to store without smudging. That's true. CJ says, probably oil is my favorite, but I usually work with acrylic because of the drawing time. I'm experimenting with inks. My buddy Trav over at Comics Limited is also experimenting with inks, and he's really enjoying it. Let's see. I don't know if you saw the piece he did for TM Nerdy, but he was experimenting with inks on that one, and he was really happy with the way it came out. Let's see. It says we have one person watching right now. I'm not sure who that is. Is it you, Tina, or is it you, CJ? Oops. Pencils are definitely the most forgiving, though. I agree. CJ says, I also agree. I absolutely hate coloring, so I'm forcing myself out of my comfort zone. Oh, that's cool. Tina, you're still here. Cool. Oh, well, somebody else is here too. Either that or my phone is lying to me. CJ says he's here drawing. What are you drawing, CJ? I was sharing with some of my friends some of this. Do you guys remember the what was it? It was Batman Dead End? Was it? I think it came out in the early 2000s. It was a Batman versus Predator versus Aliens fan film that came out, and it was back before we had any real other than the Batman movies. We didn't have anything like that. I remember everybody going crazy for that. It's a fan film that came out on YouTube. I was sharing that with some buddies today. They were like, meh. And I'm like, no, this is before we had all the crazy computer effects and everything. These guys did everything, with conventional special effects and everything. It was really cool. Inktober Helltober art. That sounds cool. I've seen that fella on IG who's doing they call it Witchtober. Those are really cool drawings that he's doing. A lot of times I'm drawing and then I'm taking away because it smudges so much, I'm taking away and drawing with the eraser pretty much sometimes. My whole side of my palm will eventually get all gray from all the pencil, the graphite that I pull off the page as I'm drawing. The Helltober list provided by Ben Templesmith. I'm not familiar with it. I'll have to check it out. Thanks, DJ. I think it's getting close to being done. I might have to start on something new. Because I was hoping to get those trade dress pieces tonight so I could start working on those. I don't want to really just start drawing on something random when I've got other projects on my plate. Because then what I end up doing is I'll start drawing on something random like this when I have things that I need to get done, and then I'll be like, oh, but I really like what's going on over there. I wanna work on that some more. Yeah, I've had some stuff published, CJ. When I okay, going way back in time, in high school we had our own graphics department, so we had our own printing presses and everything. I actually learned how to do old school printing press work, and so we were able to print. My buddies and I were able to print our own comic books and take them to the Portland comic conventions and sell them there. If anybody ever pops up with any of those, and I'll be amazed because they're a pretty short print run. They were like, and we're making a whole, I think, $1.95 or $1.50 off those things, man. But and then I've had stuff published in a magazine called Dark Discoveries. It was an internationally distributed horror anthology magazine, and I would do a lot of like the one um, the like title piece or the front piece for the story. So I would do kind of like a a collage piece that kind of summarized bits and pieces of the story. Um, and so I did one where it was this one about a starfish woman who would wait in the crashing waves and seduce men. And so I had this piece where she's in the water hold, holding a rose in one hand and a handful of eyeballs in the other hand, and there's a guy laying there with a rose in his hand, missing his eyes in the water. Um, I did like a letters page one where it was the mailbox, and it's jammed full of, like, it had a foot and a hand, and you could see the outline of a, a skull or a head with the eyeball kind of peeking out of the recesses of the mailbox. So I did all kinds of stuff, and then I did that. I felt bad for the writer for the story. There was a story. It was like about a World War II bomber, and the guy had written this World War II bomber that gets taken over by gremlins. And this guy had written like a 16-page story, and they said, "Hey, we want you to do the artwork for this comic. In this issue is going to be about comics." And so I started drawing the story for them, and then they decided they wanted it to be more digital photo manipulation, which I was able to do and make it more realistic looking. And so, like, all of the gremlins, I took photos of actual, like, tree frogs and turned them into these weird gremlin creatures and stuff. But anyway, this poor guy, he wrote like a 16-page story, and they made me condense it down to like 6 pages. So I had to cut out huge chunks of his story, and I'm like, is he okay with that? And they're like, well, he has to be. He sold the story to us, and we can do what we want with it. I was like, all right. So I mean, yeah, that was published. Yeah, all kind. Look, most of the published stuff was in Dark Discoveries magazine. Um, had some other things published. I'm trying to remember what all. But Tina, the title was the first book was called Scenario, which was so my friends and I would create all of these superhero characters. We had our own, like, superhero universes all to ourselves. Much like Image, much before Image was ever made, we had our own characters who were kind of like our versions of the Avengers or our versions of the X-Men, or what have you. And so we had this storyline where it was this futuristic, dark, almost like a Days of Future Past type of storyline where all of our characters were working together to try to stop this terrible future. And then we had a follow-up series called The Crusaders, which had, I believe, 2 issues that came out. And the covers were basically the Scenario cover was a black and white cover. The Crusaders cover was basically, it was a one color. It was a red strike on a white background, but it was interesting. But let's see, catch up with the chat here. What was the title? Do you still have any of those original books? I do have the original books. I have some copies of them somewhere. Um, Sounds nuts. It's the kind of art I'm into. Tina says she loves horror. I knew that. Sounds like typical editors. Yeah, they were pretty crazy about it. They didn't really care about what the guy had written. I felt bad. Hoped you kept the original pages from all that work. So the Gremlin one was all digitally done, and then the computer that was done on. We had a big storm and lightning, and one day I went down to fire up the computer and it wouldn't fire up, and I opened up the inside. The insides were completely melted. So that artwork is lost forever, other than what was printed. But I did the cover for that magazine as well. There's a lot of my artwork on my Instagram page at the very bottom of the page. the a lot of my Instagram was originally just kind of devoted to more of my artwork. So uh, but yeah, the Gremlin story was interesting. The 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 Gremlins overrun the plane and they kill everyone but the captain, and then the captain wakes up and the Gremlins are standing on the bomb bay doors, and he pulls the bomb release to get the Gremlins to fall out of the plane, and then the text says, "Is that when you realize that during your while you were unconscious, the Gremlins or the basically he gets hanged for treason because the Gremlins had flown the plane back over London, and he ended up bombing London when he dropped the Gremlins out of the plane. Because yeah, he's like, I swear to God, I heard them laughing as I pulled the lever for the Bombay doors. The Gremlins had tricked him into bombing London. So I just found a box recently that had a bunch of my artwork in it for there was a series that came out that my one of my high school friends, he's still a writer for, I believe he works for Oni right now, if Oni's still around. Uh, but Brian Joins is his name. But he uh, he used to do a book called The Seven Guys of Justice, and at one point he called me up and said, "Hey, I want to do a giant size Seven Guys of Justice. I lost my artist, and I've known you for forever from high school. Would you like to be the artist for this?" And so I think I did like 40 some pages of the book, and then he went through a nasty breakup, and then put everything on hold. And then after right as things started to get back on course for from him going through all that, I went through a divorce, and by the time everything got sorted out, he's like, I think it's just best we put this on hold. When I've done all that artwork, it was so frustrating. Anyway, I found it all the other day. I was like, I need to get a hold of him and ask him if he wants to do you know, Seven Guys of Justice, the lost episodes or something kind of thing, or maybe come out with like a essential Seven Guys or something with the missing storyline pieces. I need to do a video highlighting the pages that I found, because they're actually, I thought they were going through them. I was like, these still hold up. I mean, it was a comedy book, but comedy superhero parody book. But so he has characters like uh, Nighty Night, who is basically like she's a Batman type character, but also making fun of the scantily clad women crime fighters. So she's a woman crime fighter who dresses in lingerie, and it's kind of like why kind of thing. He has Hunter Gatherer, who's like a Green Arrow character, but it's was basically he's wearing an apron and oven mitts. He's like a stay-at-home dad kind of character or something that became a superhero. Um, all kinds of crazy stuff. Chain Smoke, the Nicotine Man. I remember him. He was like kind of like it was before Deadpool. He was a guy whose powers came from cancerous cells. He had him smoking. He had Mr. Happy Jetpack, who was a guy's powers were derived from alcohol. Quirky can be fun. All right, I think this one's done. I guess I'm gonna start a new one. Tina, any requests? There we go. Well, I think that's pretty good. Any critiques or criticisms? Does this area look finished to you guys? That's kind of the thing I'm seeing. Is this doesn't look quite finished. Fix that up a little bit. Thank you for the compliment, Tina. Scooby Doo sounds like it would fit right in today's PC environment. Yeah, it would probably fit in for sure. It was a pretty funny book. He had a character named Moray Earl, who was he was a underwater character. It was basically a mutated moray eel that came to the surface to try to convince the surface dwellers to be kind to his people. He was a Yeah, he was an interesting looking character. And Grumpy Monkey was a scientist who ended up getting trapped in the body of a monkey. All right, Scooby Doo. Bring it closer to the camera. As close as I can get it to the camera. I think it looks pretty good. Scooby Doo. You want me to draw Scooby Doo, huh? I don't have any reference material for Scooby Doo, and I'm terrible at drawing animals without reference material. I will have to work on a Scooby Doo for you when I get a chance to get some reference material, Tina. Did you like it, CJ, when I brought it closer to the camera? Oh, all right. Any human characters, Tina? Archie. Archie and Scooby Doo. All right. Different styles. Wolverine or Swamp Thing, huh? Well, that's a little bit more my wheelhouse. Let's see. Oh, straighten up here a little bit. Draw something ill-mannered. Okay. I'll do my best. Guess his hands don't even have to be in fists, do they? Do kind of, let's see. I'm really happy with the way that's looking. Let's work that out a little better. Gotta hop off. Have early work tomorrow. Have a good night. Post the finished piece when you're done. I will post it to my Instagram. CJ, thank you. Good night. Decide what I'm gonna have him do with his hands here. Sometimes you gotta fight you're fighting the pencils. It's like okay, it's just not working with you. Then it'll kind of almost like working with clay. The shape kind of comes into to focus for me. Okay, see you in a little bit, Tina. Good. I'm glad it's relaxing for you. Maybe we'll have Wolverine doing those things. One of those things he's not allowed to do anymore. Smoking a stogie. I was talking with some people the other day. I was like, when was it? When was the last cover that had a Marvel character smoking? Because like Nick Fury can't smoke anymore. The Thing can't. The Thing used to smoke. He can't smoke anymore because we don't want to encourage kids to smoke. So I mean, not that I'm pro smoking or anything, but you know. That's what happens when I don't have a plan. I do a lot of erasing. Good question. What was the question? Oh, when was the last cover that had a Marvel character smoking? Yeah, yeah. I don't know. Probably. I don't know if and which character was it? Was it Nick Fury? Was it the Thing? Was it Wolverine? Yeah, it's kind of a chill pose, huh? I was like, I'm trying to go too much like threatening action. I'm just gonna kind of have him in kind of a chill, almost maybe like he's tracking somebody or something, you know. Go for the old school, like when he was in the brown and he had the little fins on his boots. I always like those. Sorry, I'm not talking a lot, Tina. I'm just kind of getting into drawing. That happens when I'm drawing. It's kind of like that Wolverine miniseries cover with the crossbow. Channeling my inner Frank Miller. Do you know that cover? The issue, I think that's issue 4 that has him with the crossbow of the Wolverine miniseries. You need a number 4, huh? I may have a spare number 4. I'm gonna check. Boing. You'll eventually get it 4. It's a good series, that's for sure. Well, so Simpsons covers are done for my horror stuff. So um tomorrow is gonna be Zatanna. Um, I got a chunk of Zatanna covers. My uh, what's his name? Well, we've got Adam Hughes and we've got oh, gosh, I can't think of his name. Anyway, another good artist. Yeah, I'll remember it in a minute here. Yeah, that one guy, he's really good. He's I can't think of his name. He does really great detail. What is he did the Joker cover with the smiling cat. Um, why am I drawing a blank on that guy's name? That's bugging me now. I can't remember his name. Boland. Yes, there you go. Thank you. It's like, God, it's driving me nuts. Brian Boland. He's got a good name. Brian. It's a good name. Thanks for hanging out with me. I keep I keep fighting the urge to have smoke coming out of his mouth, but I think it would look kind of goofy if I did that. Well, I rescued it, and I was about ready to give up on it. Sometimes I get to a point when I'm fighting with them, I'll just like crumple the paper up and start over again. Feeling a little performance anxiety there, where I'm trying to draw from scratch on camera. Don't crumple it up. Nope, not crumpling it up now. But there was a point where I was almost about ready to. Ooh. The Wolverine in a rainstorm. You smell like wet dog. Is it the 23rd now? Or after midnight now, so it's the 23rd, right? Is it the 25th today? Oh, I got somebody else watching. Yes, it's the 25th. All right. I'm just brain dead. There we go. Signed, dated, live stream. Thanks, Tina. I appreciate you hanging out with me. And whoever else was in here. Oh, we had somebody else in here and they bailed. They didn't want to say anything. All right. Well, there you go. Up close and personal. There he is. Whoops. Banging into the stand. All right. Well, I think I'm going to call it a night. Try to be a responsible adult and get some sleep so I can actually be alert and everything at work tomorrow. Well, I'm glad you like it. I'll try to do a Scooby Doo. I'll get some reference material. Scooby, I'll do Scooby and Archie and the gang. Well, thank you for hanging out. It was awesome, Tina. Appreciate it. And for those of you catching on the replay, Tina said thank you so much for drawing and hanging out. And that was awesome. And it was awesome hanging out with everybody and talking with uh, CJ and Trev and Dan and Tina and everything else. So for those watching later on, have a wonderful day or a wonderful evening, depending on where you're at. And we'll catch you guys on the next one. All right. Good night, all.